Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm For Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today, what I do every day is a quick test to Indika. So this game was provided by, it was developed by the Odd Studio. I'm not really sure how many Odd Meter, not Odd Studio, Odd Meter. And these guys actually have another game for VR, exclusive for VR, and this is their first title that it's not VR only. And I did request a key for this game because it seemed to be graphically interesting and also because of the requirements. So this game requires an RX 580 with 8 gigabytes of VRAM or a GTX with an 1660 with a 6 gigabytes of VRAM. And what we do have is something slightly weaker, which is a 1650 Super with 6 gigabytes of VRAM, and the 1650 Super only have like 4 gigabytes of VRAM. So we know that 4 gigabytes of VRAM it's an issue nowadays, and that's why I was interested to especially try out this game to see if it was possible to run with 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And as you can see in here, it is perfectly possible, although there are some issues. Some of these issues I'm not really sure if it is caused by Unreal Engine itself or if it is just out of VRAM. But I would guess that we are just out of VRAM and we have sometimes weird frame times going on, as you can see on MS Afterburner. It just goes with a very big ups and downs very frequently, and sometimes a little bit of stuttering. I believe this is because we are out of VRAM. And you might say something like, oh my god, but on MS Afterburner it's reporting 3.6 and dedicated usage of 3.2 at the moment, 3.1. How come the graphic card it is using the entire 4 gigabytes of VRAM? Because it is how it works. You can't load the entire VRAM of a GPU. That's not entirely possible unless your textures really fit very well inside the VRAM to fulfill the 4 gigabytes of VRAM. But the majority of the time that is not possible. But the good news is, like I was telling you, it is perfectly possible to play the game. The game at low settings or medium settings or ultra settings doesn't look too much of a difference, in my opinion. Low settings, I do feel that there are some stuff missing, like motion blur. Despite you can toggle motion blur on, it does nothing if you are playing at low settings. Shadows rendering distance is also much more smaller, and there might be other things that do change, like the screen space reflections quality or volumetrics that might change, but that was not really too much of a difference. Median settings on the other end, it does improve the shadow's distance, motion blur starts to work, and you can specify on or off, whatever your taste. And I've noticed a little bit of increased quality on texture quality, so that might increase the VRAM usage. And there is also ultra settings. There is no high settings for this game. You just have like low, medium, and ultra settings. You don't have a custom preset or anything to personalize. And the ultra settings, there is a massive improvement to the graphics. You can notice like more bloomish, lightning. Can see much more screen space reflections being used throughout the map. Tessellation on the snow, it has a much bigger density and it is more noticeable. And shadow quality, it does improve a lot its resolution as well as the volumetric quality. So I'm not really sure what it does change regarding texture quality from low to medium or medium to ultra, but what I did notice is that the low settings provides obviously a much more stable experience. So for this video I did use the low settings and the medium settings and the ultra settings using upscaling, which is the TAAU, which is built in on Unreal Engine 4. And then I decided to go with ultra with native quality, so without any upscaling, and that's where I started to have big drops below 30 frames per second in regular gameplay. So my recommendation for this game it is for you to play at either low or median settings while using the temporal upscaling on quality, which does a very good job on this game. You can then decide if you want to walk the game at 30 FPS or 60, but as far as I've seen about the game and as far as I've played a little bit, which was approximately 1 hour, I think 30 frames per second is more than enough for this game. It's just you are just going to wander around and have some puzzles. So if I had to describe a little bit the game, I think the place where they offered me the key, it describes pretty well what is the game. In Indika, players assume the role of the titular nun. Indika embarking on a mind-bending journey to explore the duality of good and evil, and the understanding that nothing is absolute. At its core, Indika it is a third-person perspective adventure game, blending exploration with environmental puzzles and the torch of platforming. Not so much the platforming part though. However, steeped in the themes of sin, sorrow, and moral dilemmas, Indika transcends traditional gaming, resembling an art house film that challenges societal norms rather than offering simple amusement. Sorry. I think it's an interesting game, although it's not a very big game on how long to beat. It says that you can finish this game in pretty much 4 to 5 hours, and it's a pretty linear game, so it's not really a very different experience that you're going to get. And it's not a big game, like I said, and it's also not too much expensive though. If I'm going to look to the Steam store at the moment of this video, it just costs 22.49. The regular price it is 24.99, so it's not really that expensive. So it's also to be expected that on a sale this game will go dirt cheap. So if you like this type of interesting and weird games with a lot of psychedelic puzzles that you are not seeing in here because I don't want to spoil you, then you should grab this game or wait for it to be on a subscription service like Game Pass or something like that. I find it interesting. I really wanted to try this game, and I want to say thank you to Oddmeter to made it available for me to try it out. So, in case you want to see more about the gameplay of this game, I'm planning a live stream soon. I'm not really sure when I will do it, since as some of you already know, I'm a father of a child, and sometimes they require attention, so it's really hard to, you know, to make it work sometimes. Also, a thing that will be new to the channel is I will have, or I will try to have a side-by-side comparison of the performance of Indika running on Windows 10 versus Linux Mint 21.3. So that's right, I'm going to start to introduce Linux benchmarks for developers that provide me the keys for their games, because some people are having resistance to adhere to Windows 11, and Windows 10 support will end in 1 year and a half, more or less. So I want to show you the state of Linux regarding gaming. I already have done some testing, and it's not great. All the games pretty much work aside from games with big anti-cheat solutions, but even single-player games and stuff like that, there is a loss in performance that rounds an average between 5 to 15%. So this might improve in the future, but now I will start to support some comparisons between Linux and Windows, because for some people those differences might not be that important and they might prefer to move on to Linux if they want. And to be honest, the system is awesome, to not say the least. Very stable, and the majority of the applications that I use, they are there. So that's it. Guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about Indika. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the benchmark. In case you want to jump to any specific points of the benchmark, there is links on the description of the video. And in case you have any doubt, just leave a comment on the comment section. Alright, so that's it. Thank you much for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
For the sake of the prayers of all the... Stasha? Do you have something prepared for Smaragda? It's cold today, isn't it? Oh, potatoes. Thank you. Thank you.
The sisters loved Indika. Christian love is known to be patient, merciful, and faithful. However, in a lowly human sense, they didn't love her that much. To be completely honest, they didn't love her at all. What does it mean to be truly righteous? To never succumb to temptation, or to take a vow of chastity despite constant temptation? Our heroine did not know the answer to this question and preferred never to dwell on it. If it were up to her, she would have chosen the quiet life of a nun. However, destiny had something different in store for her.
I'm sorry. Maybe I can help.
You're the last person I need right now. Get lost.
Sorry. For the sake of the prayers of all the... Stesha, do you have something prepared for Smaragda? It's cold today, isn't it? Oh, potatoes. Thank you. Thank you.
The sisters loved Indika. Christian love is known to be patient, merciful, and faithful. However, in a lowly human sense, they didn't love her that much. To be completely honest, they didn't love her at all. Many of them felt nothing but disgust for her. Indika, however, was not to blame.